On December 17, 2025, an eerie silence swept across parts of Colorado, settling over neighborhoods that were usually bustling with life. The stillness was unsettling, a stark contrast to the usual hum of evening activity. This silence wasn't caused by a winter storm or heavy snowfall, but by a deliberate and unprecedented power outage, one that left entire communities in darkness. Xcel Energy, Colorado's largest utility provider, made the controversial decision to cut electricity to tens of thousands of homes and businesses. Their goal: to prevent a catastrophic wildfire as powerful, relentless winds swept through the region, threatening to turn a single spark into disaster. This was only the second time in Colorado's history that such a large-scale, planned shutoff had been implemented. The move plunged families and entire neighborhoods into uncertainty, forcing them to adapt quickly to a world without power. The risk was clear: endure inconvenience and hardship for a day, or face the nightmare of another Marshall Fire, a disaster that still haunts the memories of many Coloradans. Grocery shelves emptied, and the fear of what could happen next lingered in the air. By sunset, more than 115,000 customers were without power. Some lost electricity by design as part of the preemptive shutoff, while others suffered outages from storm damage as winds toppled trees and power lines. The event exposed just how vulnerable the region has become. It forced residents and officials alike to confront the new reality of living in wildfire-prone areas, where extreme weather can upend daily life in an instant. For many, it was a cold, dark day that raised urgent questions. How often will this happen? Is this the new normal for Colorado? Families huddled together, neighbors checked in on each other, and everyone wondered what the future might hold. The shutoff became a real-time test of community resilience and Xcel's emergency safety protocols. Volunteers mobilized, shelters opened their doors, and utility workers worked around the clock to restore power and reassure anxious residents. In the aftermath, the event sparked a vital conversation about the true cost of safety in an era of extreme weather. As Colorado faces a future shaped by climate change, communities are left to weigh the difficult balance between prevention and disruption, and to ask, what are we willing to sacrifice to stay safe? The shutoff was triggered by a dire weather forecast, one that sent a ripple of concern through emergency officials and residents alike. Meteorologists warned of a rare and dangerous combination: relentless hurricane-force winds paired with bone-dry air, creating a perfect storm for disaster. These winds weren't just strong, they were relentless, howling across the plains and whipping up dust and debris. The air itself felt electric, charged with the threat of something catastrophic. Gusts reached up to 85 miles per hour, powerful enough to snap branches, topple signs, and, most dangerously, threaten to turn power lines into deadly ignition sources. Every wire became a potential spark, every pole a possible point of failure. The landscape was a tinderbox, parched grasses and trees ready to burn at the slightest provocation. Months of drought had left the earth cracked and vegetation brittle, amplifying the risk. In these conditions, a single spark, whether from a downed line or a stray ember, could have unleashed a wildfire impossible to contain, racing across fields and threatening entire communities within minutes. Xcel's infrastructure, though robust and designed to withstand Colorado's harsh climate, isn't immune to such extremes. Lines can arc in high winds, transformers can fail under stress, and poles can topple, all with devastating consequences. By de-energizing high-risk areas, Xcel aimed to remove the spark from the fire equation. It was a calculated move, one that prioritized lives and property over convenience, even as it left thousands in the dark. Residents heard the wind howl, saw trees bend, and felt the anxiety of imminent danger. The storm was not just outside their windows, it was in the pit of their stomachs, a constant reminder of nature's unpredictability. For those living near wildlands, the blackout felt like a necessary shield against disaster. Families gathered by flashlight, hoping the darkness would keep the flames at bay. The wind wasn't just a weather event, it was a warning, a force that demanded respect and caution. It reminded everyone how quickly circumstances can change, and how fragile safety can be. The decision to cut power was drastic, but the alternative could have been far worse. Emergency crews stood ready, knowing that even with precautions the situation could escalate in moments. Nature's power was on full display, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Every flash of lightning, every gust of wind, was a reminder of the risks faced that day. The day's chaos underscored the delicate balance between safety and disruption, a balance that, in moments like these, can mean the difference between disaster and survival. The blackout rippled through daily life in Boulder, Jefferson, and beyond. Homes lost heat, internet vanished, and routines collapsed. Schools closed, leaving parents scrambling for childcare. Major roads shut down, and public transit was thrown into disarray. Emergency services were stretched thin, with 911 lines flooded by non-emergencies. Officials pleaded for calm and urged residents to reserve emergency calls for true crises. In response, comfort centers opened at local libraries, offering warmth, charging stations, and a sense of community. The outage revealed both the fragility of modern infrastructure and the importance of rapid community support. It was a stark reminder. When the grid fails, neighbors and local resources become lifelines. For many, the outage was deeply personal. It wasn't just about the lights going out. It was about the sudden loss of normalcy, the routines and comforts we often take for granted. In an instant, daily life was upended, and people were forced to adapt to a new, uncertain reality. In Golden, a woman lost power mid-work call, her day and income gone in an instant. Across the city, professionals scrambled to reschedule meetings, students missed online classes, and deadlines slipped away. The digital world, so reliable just moments before, suddenly felt fragile and out of reach. Families struggled to keep kids warm and entertained without screens or heat. Parents dug out old board games and told stories by candlelight, trying to turn the disruption into an adventure, even as the temperature dropped and worries grew. Food spoilage became a real threat, especially for those with full freezers and tight budgets. Every hour without power meant more uncertainty about what could be saved and what would have to be thrown away, an added burden for families already stretched thin. Cooking was impossible for those with electric stoves. Daily life reverted to basics. Cold meals and improvised solutions became the norm, as people tried to make do with what they had on hand, often sharing resources with neighbors or relying on community support. The anxiety was greatest for those with medical needs. Backup batteries only last so long, and uncertainty grew as restoration timelines slipped. For caregivers and those relying on medical equipment, every minute without power brought new fears and difficult decisions. Some considered relocating to friends' homes or hospitals for safety. The decision to leave home, even temporarily, was never easy, but for many, it was the only way to ensure their loved ones stayed safe and warm. The financial toll, lost food, lost wages, added to the stress. Small business owners closed their doors, unsure when they could reopen, while families worried about how to stretch their budgets even further in the days ahead. The blackout's impact went far beyond inconvenience. It exposed just how dependent we are on the grid. Streets once bustling with activity fell silent, and neighborhoods disappeared into darkness, reminding everyone how quickly life can change. For many, it was a day of improvisation, worry, and hard choices. Yet, in the midst of uncertainty, people found ways to support each other, share resources, and hold on to hope that the lights, and life as they knew it, would soon return. Businesses faced their own crisis. At Boulder's Chautauqua lodges, staff sprang into action, distributing flashlights, extra blankets, and reassurance to guests left in the dark. Normal operations halted, the focus shifted to safety and comfort. Employees became problem solvers, fielding questions and calming nerves. The outage forged camaraderie among staff, but also meant lost revenue and wages. Across the region, coffee shops, grocery stores, and restaurants faced similar struggles. Spoiled goods, closed doors, and economic uncertainty. The blackout's ripple effects hit workers and owners alike. It was a day that tested adaptability and underscored the economic fragility of local businesses. When the power goes out, resilience becomes the most valuable asset. Xcel's decision was guided by a hard-learned wildfire mitigation plan, the principle better a blackout than a deadly fire. Xcel's teams monitor weather and risk, activating shutoffs when danger peaks. The approach marks a shift from reactive to proactive, Born from tragedies like California's Camp Fire, utilities now face immense pressure to prevent their equipment from sparking disaster. Xcel's leadership acknowledged the hardship, but stood by the decision as necessary. It's a high-stakes balancing act, inconvenience versus the risk of catastrophe. In today's climate, there are no easy answers, only hard choices. Xcel's aggressive shutoff strategy is rooted in recent wildfire history. The 2021 Marshall Fire destroyed over 1,000 homes, with Xcel facing lawsuits and a $640 million settlement. The company is also implicated in Texas's massive Smokehouse Creek fire, facing new legal action. These incidents have put Xcel under intense scrutiny from regulators and the public. After a poorly handled shutoff in April 2024, Colorado demanded better communication and planning. The December event was a test of these new protocols. For Xcel, planned outages are now a necessary, if unpopular, tool to avoid existential legal and financial threats. The stakes: public trust, financial survival, and community safety. As the blackout began, officials rushed to share safety tips. Drivers were reminded to treat dark intersections as four-way stops. Residents were warned to avoid downed power lines, always assume they're live. Xcel urged people to charge devices, stock emergency kits, and keep fridge doors closed. Having water, food, flashlights, and a manual garage opener became essential. The message: be ready to be self-sufficient for up to 72 hours. Preparedness isn't just for wildfires, it's the new normal for any emergency. The December 2025 shutoff was more than a day without power, it was a wake-up call. Extreme weather and fragile infrastructure now demand hard choices between inconvenience and disaster. The event revealed gaps in communication but also the strength of community response. Individual preparedness, emergency kits, plans, and knowledge is now essential. Utilities like Xcel must balance reliability with safety, and public trust hinges on transparency. Public safety power shutoffs are here to stay. The challenge is to execute them better. The day was a rehearsal for a future where resilience is key. We can no longer take electricity for granted. Safety is a shared responsibility between companies, government, and every citizen. In the darkness, communities must find new ways to stay illuminated.